Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Learn with Ayesha. Here I am with the next class, which is the next sense organ, that is the ear, the organ of hearing and balance. So as you can see here, a structure which is the of a human ear has been drawn. I hope you will like the picture which is done by myself. So you can just see here there is a structure of the human ear. So before we go, as we all know, ear is an organ of hearing and balance, and the human ear consists of three parts: the outer ear, middle ear, and the inner ear. And this is the structure of the human ear. Before we start, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the latest notification of the further videos. So let us start our class with the structure of the human ear in order to understand how we hearing and make a balance in the ear. So the first one is the outer ear. Outer ear. The outer part of the ear consists of the ear lobes. So before I start explaining of the outer ear and inner and the middle, let us just know what are the parts labeling of the human ear. This is the, as you can see, these three lobes are the semicircular canals, and this is the small yellow colors, these tapes in oval window. This is the vestibules. This is cochlear nerve, vestibule, cochlear, round window, auditory tube, incus, tympanic membrane, malleus, auditory canal, and this is the pinna. So before we go in details, let us know a few points or basic information about the outer ear. The outer ear consists of the ear lobe or pinna. This is pinna and auditory canal. And this auditory canal is the passage of sound and waves leading to the eardrum. Or the tympanic membrane. Here it will pass from pinna and auditory canal. The sound travels and passes to this membrane, and which pass them to the ear ossicles in the middle ear. That means this is the middle ear. So this middle ear, the next one is the middle ear. The middle ear is a small air-filled cavity called tympanic cavity. It is separated from the outer ear of the tympanic membrane. From here it is separated till here. Membrane from the inner ear by a bony partition. This is the bony partition, contain two small opening. One is the oval window, another is the round window, and this cavity opens in a tube which connects the middle ear from the inner ear with the throat. From here the throat is being connected, and this tube opens during the swelling and yawning to allow air to enter and leave the middle ear and pass pressure on both the sides of the eardrum in equal form. The next is the ear ossicles. This middle ear has three tiny bones that form a chain inside the tympanic cavity. These are nothing but the hammer-shaped incus. This is malleus, this one, and the steps, this 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and this is the 3. This 3 opening, or the 3 tiny bones, they play a significant role. They handle the hammer-shaped malleus. This malleus is attached to the inner surface of the eardrum, and inner end of the staples is attached to the margin. Margin of the ovals, and this oval windows is through oval windows. The cavity of the middle drum is connected with the cavity of the internal ear. This oval window is covered with a tiny membrane called as the round windows. This is the windows, and this similar membrane covered round windows also connects the cavity of the middle ear and the internal ear. That means this middle ear and the inner ear are both are connected with a window called stabs in oval windows. Next is the inner ear, which is comes in exactly the mechanism of hearing and the balance or the membranous. This inner ear is situated in a fluid filled bone cavity. This fluid is called perilymph, and the inner ear comprises of these coccylae, semicircular, which is this one, inner cavity, and the vestibules. These are the three which are connected to the inner ear. In this, so let us go by this particularly one by one. Coccylae is 20 to 30 millimeter long, spiral shaped tubules. This, I hope you may not be able to see. There is a color. This is the one which is in a long spiral shaped tube coil like structure, look like a snail shell. It has 2.5 turn, and this cavity of coccylae is divided into 3 parallel canals separated by 2 membrane. First is the basal membrane from the floor of middle canal. Here is the middle canal, and then the membrane forms the roof. The outer and the inner canals are filled with the perilymph, whereas the middle one is filled with the endolymphs. This basilar membrane contains organs of cortate. These are organs of hearing, which is mainly for balancing the audio. Each organ of cortate contains sensory cells, and this sensory hair cells and the hair cells. These cells are joined with the fibers of auditory nerve. Auditory nerve will be balanced. In the semicircular canals, this 1, 2, and 3. These canals are set of 3 fluid filled with the canals arranged at the right angle to each other. But different planes, so that one is horizontal and the other 2 are vertical to each other, and one on end of each canal is swollen in the form of ambula. This, as you can see here, the ending, which is in swollen shape. Okay, this is over, and this ambula contains a bunch of sensory cells called as the cristia, and this cristae in the semicircular canals are the organ of equilibrium. They balance the wavelength of the sound, and this cavity of semicircular canals and their ambules, which are filled in this with endolymph, contains particles of calcium and carbohydrate called otoliths. The next one is the of inner ear is the vestibules. Vestibules is a short and a oval. As you can see here is the vestibules. It's a very short and oval part of the membranous which join the semicircular canals here with a coccylae. It consists of 2 sac-like structure, that is the sac-like structure, and this contains sensory cells which are associated with the static equilibrium. They maintain the static equilibrium, and these are the things which contains and balance the hearing. So how this can be balanced, the mechanism behind this hearing and balance is we are going to study here. How we are going to balance the here, as you can just look here where we are going to see how the mechanism follows the hearing and the balancing. The first one is the hearing. Here what happens, the pinea, as you can see here, the pinea collects the sound waves and enter into the auditory canal. Enters into the auditory canal. I hope you will be able to see the structure. I'll just do little medicine. Okay. Here the pinea collects the sound waves and enter into the auditory canal, and this sound wave strikes the eardrum and cause it to vibrate. This vibration and in eardrum cause the bones of the ear osteals to vibrate, and this bone amplify the sound waves and make us hear even the slightest whisper. And this vibration convey to the membrane of the oval window, and cause the vibration in the peripheral limbs. From this membrane, the vibration is carried to a fluid in the vestibules and lymphatic canal of the cochlear, and this vibration in the fluid stimulate the hair cells in the duct and impulse to conduct and send messages to the brain through this auditory nerve. And by this mechanism we will be able to understand how this hearing mechanism takes place in our ear. The next one is the balancing mechanism. How this mechanisms takes place. Here the semicircular canals, as these three canals are of the ear, act as an organs of balance, and these canals are filled with a fluid called as the endolymph or auricles, which contains the particles or otoliths. This sensory hairs of the internal lining project into the endolymphs, which is heated, and then the normal position of this otoliths or the endolymphs more towards the fit and press the sensory hairs at an angle of different from the normal position. This stimuli is picked up by the fiber of the auditory nerve and are passed on to the brain, and these pass on to this brain and this brain, from this brain the sensory cells orders are sent through the motor neurons, and this neuron return to the body after its normal position, set back to its normal position. I hope you will get a time. That means from this semicircular canals, they pass on to the organ of balance, where they are filled with a fluid called endolymphs or auricles. From this, the sensory hairs take the lining of the project to the endocynes and forms a different angle from the normal position. And this sensory hairs pick up the fibers from the auditory nerve and then pass on to the brain. From this brain, the sensory order and necessary orders are sent back through the motor neurons in order to come back to its normal position in a body. So this is the hearing balance of the mechanism of hearing and balancing. Here some of the functions which I have made, different part of the ear functions. As you can see, the part of ear and the components which are involved and what is their functions. External ear, that is the pinea, collects and direct the sound waves into the auditory canals. Then the middle ear, tympanic membrane and ear ossicles, malleus, incus and stapes are the three one which are called as ear ossicles, and they amplify the sound waves. And the third one is the inner ear. Oval window transmit vibration to cochlear. Cochlea is the conversion of sound waves. The next is the organ of cortex, that is a conversion of sound waves into nerve impulse. Then utriculus and sacculus are the receptors for hearing and static equilibrium, balance. And then semicircular canals, those are the three canals which help in the maintaining the dynamic equilibrium in the middle eardrum. So these are the different functions of different parts of the ear. I hope you have got what I am able trying to understand. If you have any doubt and any question related to this topic, please come type your question in comment box so that I'll be able to answer all the doubts and clarify each part of the particular topic. So by next class we will be able to cover up with the nose and the tongue and the skin, other three sense organs which have been left out, which will be carried out in the next class. So I hope you have got my